catch up at Larder with Nick Katzberg and get his thoughts before race 2.
While it was good for, certainly for Huffy and not bad for Lapierre, it was tough for you, Nicky. What happened that race?
Well, at the start, I started last, so after the turn 1, I was right up there with Montero and Stefano D'Aste. I was next to Montero, and he basically left me no room on the inside. It was very tight. I hit the grass, and right in the braking zone, I lost it. So spun round. Steering wheel was a little bit out of line, so came back in the box, did some repairs, ready for race 2, obviously. And after that, we went back out. Car feels good, so let's see where we are for race 2.
And the car will be okay?
Yeah, car will be good. Obviously now it's raining a bit, so a bit nervous for that, but let's see what's gonna happen.
Great stuff, thanks Nicky.
Well, this will be his first wet race in a touring car as well, Nicky Katzberg. Right in the background of the shot, you can see one of the course cars coming in. Wipers now on intermittent. It is only a little bit of light drizzle, Harry Folcar, but let's take a look at the incident there. Well, we sort of don't see it. That's the aftermath, if you like, and wondered whether something had broken, because that shot that we saw showed no contact with anybody.
Yeah.
But by that time, he was probably spinning on the grass and coming back into shot. So
it sounds like he's had a wheel on the grass and maybe hit a bump if he's had the tracking go out and things. So perhaps that was you know, a little bit earlier on as he was going down the straight, and like you say, Martin, it's probably the aftermath that we've just seen there.
You can see Ben and Eve down there lurking with intent there outside Royal Motorsport. So let's find out what's going on with Tom Coronel and Tom Chilton. Both cars off at the same corner in near cookie cutter incidents, and we'll see who has Ben got to talk to. I think it may well be catching up with Tom Coronel, or maybe not. Alex is down there as well, and Ivan Muller had plenty of problems in race 1. Let's see if they can fix them.
A really nice moment there, Ivan and Sebastian Loeb shaking hands after what was a fantastic race between the three of you guys. Really entertaining and a great start for you, Ivan.
Yeah, great start. I didn't use the opportunity of the great start at the first lap because I was outside, but turn 3, it was a match between Ma and Seb, and I could use the opportunity.
And you put on a really good show with Ma and Seb threatening. Why were you not being able to pull away so much?
After 4 or 5 laps, I was struggling with my brake. I don't know why, and I was a bit conservative. And when Ma overtook me, I was conservative. Plus, it was some rain, so I was even more conservative. Too many, probably. And he braked on the same point of the lap before, and he did well. So well done to him. But for me, 5th place was the best I could expect today.
And you mentioned rain, something you're used to when you race in British touring cars quite a lot. What do you do with this sort of situation? It's rained a little bit, but it's not really wet.
It's a bit of a drama right now, because which tire to use is not wet enough to the wet tire, is not dry enough for slicks. Something in between we don't have. So it's complicated. At the moment, we are, of course, thinking about it. But we will wait the last second to do the choice.
Thanks, Ivan.
Thank you.
Yeah, the cars will be on the grid. 5 minutes to go, they have to be lowered onto the ground, and it'll be with 5 minutes and 30 seconds, or maybe 6 minutes to go, that the final die will be cast. And if it's raining heavily then, anybody who makes the wrong choice may as well pack up and go home. But it doesn't feel as though it's going to be a wet race, but then...
Yeah, you can, wet tractor clad, you can see just the sheen in front of us, just on the entrance to the pit road there. There's a little...
With such a fantastic racing history here in Japan, someone that many of us have many high hopes for was Coronel, but that was a really tough race for you. What's happened?
Well, completely no brakes, so the pedal went completely down. So I thought, I don't want to go in front into the barrier. So in the gravel, I was turning the car around, trying to stop it, and I just hit the barrier from the back. But the pedal was completely down, completely no brakes. Already from the second lap, I felt it coming. I said to the team, the brakes are going down, I don't have any brakes. And then at once, just completely nothing.
And so, so now looking ahead to race 2.
Well, it's raining a little bit, so hopefully it keeps on this weather type, because then you don't have the brake force before the corner so much, and we won't have had this difficulty. All the Chevys had the same difficulty. My teammate had the same difficulty, so it's just an overall problem for us.
Tough luck, Tommy.
That's the first time we've really heard of that, isn't it? You know, and I wonder whether there's been a little aerodynamic change that has, yeah, it's the law of unintended consequences, isn't it? You change something to make it better, and then you find out, in fact, it sort of had a knock-on effect somewhere else. And, well, that explains why he and Tom Chilton both went off in the same place. And over the background of his shoulder there, you could see that Tom Chilton's car is fast becoming a gaffer tape special. Very evident, it's a red and black car, and there's white gaffer all over it. You'll see that. Brake changes going on. And we heard from Citroën, it was Jose Maria Lopez had brake problems during free practice that they managed to sort out. Mar didn't complain of that. Ivan was complaining much more about understeer. So maybe, although it's not the highest speed circuit, there are a lot of substantial braking episodes here. Now, just to go back very quickly, the reason that the track has been declared wet is to allow drivers to fit wet tyres if they want to. You are not allowed to use a wet weather tyre unless the track has been declared wet. So that's the significance there. Race directors are opening that option for drivers should it be necessary.
Just heard about a brake lock from Coronel here with his teammate who had an equally disastrous first race. What was the problem for you?
Can you believe it, but we both had brake failure. As in, when I say failure, we're talking foot to the floor, absolutely no brakes whatsoever. My teammate came off on the second or third lap, and I came off on the third or fourth lap in exactly the same corner, foot to the floor. I'll tell you what, it's pretty scary when you've got no brakes, and I can't believe it's happened to both of us on the same corner. In 14 years of touring cars, I've never had anything quite like this.
Doesn't bode well for race 2. How are you feeling about getting in the car now?
I'm going out on slicks, it's spitting with rain, thinking it might dry, but to be honest, I would rather it was pouring with rain so I don't have to hit the brake pedal hard. But I need to get out there and assess it either way because I need it ready for Shanghai, but it's extremely frustrating, and I'm just happy that both me and Tom are okay.
Be safe, Gillian.
That's scary.
That onboard that they were playing during that interview, the speed that he came up behind Ugo Vallon's car.
Yeah, that was lucky. That could have been a big crash, but that was both into turn 5, and you look over the lap, there are 5 or 6 big stops. We heard a little bit in free practice about some brake issues, but hadn't quite anticipated it being that much of an issue. But you know, I can see pretty much every car up and down the pit lane on their change boards have got new brake pads and discs on, so you know it's obviously an ongoing issue.
Yeah, cleaning. that's all that Lopez's car needs. Well, they're just finalising things here, cleaning out the brake dust. And they have enormous anchors on these things, really huge brakes. They carry a lot of speed. It is a fairly light car, but they have to stop at a very short distance. Zoltan Zengo, as ever, the team boss, just polishing the car a little bit. You know, he just can't be still. It's all far too personal. Brake changes going on still at Royal. You can see little drops of rain on the windscreen. Not a lot, but it could offer opportunities for the driver who makes the right call here. Hasn't worked out well for them. Ugo Vallon heads out of pit road, as does our Yokohama Trophy winner in race 1, the man who was on pole, Norbert Michaelis. Norby will start 10th on the grid for race 2, and Ugo Vallon in the number 7 car will start on pole position. So his practice start again, very important because Ugo has started at the front several times, races 1 and in races 2. In race 1s and in race 2s, but has yet to really convert it, and it's always been getting off the line that has been his big bugbear.
Imagine the pressure as well. You know you're starting pole, but not just that. You've got a little bit of. I mean, these conditions will be very greasy out there because, like I was saying, where the rubber's already been laying down, any moisture will sit on top of that rubber, and these are actually pretty sketchy conditions when it's like this.
And the deal there, of course, is that he knows he's fluffed lots of starts from the front row, and he's on the front row again, and it just builds up the pressure, doesn't it? It's like a tennis player. If you continue to get into finals and lose the final, every time you get into the final with a losing final streak growing behind you, the pressure just builds.
And bear in mind as well, obviously lap 1, nobody knows how much grip there is, and the first time you're doing that is at full racing speed. He's going to be the first one to have to find out, test out where the grip is and how much there is, and everybody else can use him as a yardstick.
As a brake.
Yeah, well, yeah, as a brake as well.
And that's the danger. If he does make a good start and gets away, as you say, he might be a little more cautious. The guy behind might not be, might just find a bit of water that Ugo doesn't, and will, you know, it's possible can end up running into the back of him. But as the leader, first you've got a better view of where the weather is, but you're always the first one to find out there's not as much grip as everybody thought there would be.
Yeah.
And so it is a double-edged sword. There's no question about that. If he gets away in the lead, then he is walking a tightrope. I mean, you always are anyway, but the tightrope's been shaved a bit because of the weather.
What do you think about a Honda win here then? I think that could be on the cards.
Well, Thiago Monteiro starts 3rd, Gabriele Tarquini starts 5th, and Ugo Vallant and Nicky Katzberg on the front row of the grid. It could be a very interesting podium.
Fantastic race in race 1 from Sebastian Loeb. Not the best start, but a fantastic race with your teammates. Seb, you've just done a reconnaissance lap with the wet conditions. How is it out there?
It seems okay at the moment. It's not really wet, so the conditions don't change too much.
These are the sort of conditions that you really, really like, changeable conditions, low grip conditions.
Yeah, but it's dry. So,
and for that race 1, did you have a good time?
Sorry?
The race 1?
Race 1 was, I was very aggressive on the start, and finally I went push a bit in the grass in some places, so I lost some places. After that, nothing special to do.
But you had good pace against Ivan and Quinn Hamar.
Yeah, for sure I had good pace, but didn't find opportunity to overtake, so it was a bit difficult, but still motivated.
Have a good race too.
Thank you.
I'll be motivated until the day he takes his final breath, won't he? Sebastian Loeb is nothing if not a competitor. Still working, see the engineers there, getting everything ready. You don't have to do everything in the pits. You do have to fuel the car. You do have to do major damage repairs. You can finish it off on the grid, and we've seen that before, flat floors being refixed and all that sort of stuff. There's not an awful lot of time.
Yeah, you just have to be out of the pit lane before it closes, but that was very interesting what he said about it being dry there. You know, he's adamant that there isn't any moisture on the circuit, so obviously what we're seeing on the cars and on the windscreens and things is probably just superficial. But
yeah, it's only a few spits and spots. I mean, really is just the tiniest little spots of drizzle. When you can see that nobody's got raincoats on, nobody's worried about hats or jackets or anything else, and even Huffy's visor, there's not a spot of water on it.
Yeah.
So that little sort of few spits that started right at the end of race 1, not really enough to affect the grip levels there, although the drivers were worrying about it, as we heard from Ivan, and certainly no sign of it actually raining hard now.
Some modern technology brushes down there.
Hey, listen, you know, you'd be amazed how good they are compared to a standard European style broom. That's why they were used for so many hundreds and hundreds of years. Well, 74% humidity. Humidity has dropped. It's a little cooler, but there is no rain coming down, and the track is still warm and dry. Lights on the safety car, ready to head the field away. There's our DHL pole sitter on the right-hand side of your picture. Ugo Vallant contemplates how to make a decent start in his Chevy Cruze. He's been very quick in qualifying. He's started on the front row and on pole a number of times already this season and in his career, and he has yet to convert one into a win.
He's been very, very fast on his day as well, hasn't he? He's been up there with Citroens and, you know, right at the front of the grid on merit as well, not necessarily just off a reverse grid. So yeah, he could be one to watch as long as he gets away cleanly and sharp off the line.
Absolutely, and that will be the key. That will be what's playing on his mind. Rob Huff starts 13th. One of 4 drivers who have competed in over 200 FIA World Touring Car races. Tom Chilton in 12th position, damage on the back of his car, as with teammate Tom Coronel, 2 rows behind him, where they went into the tyres backwards down at turn 5.
That's got to be scary as well. You know, like they now know that they have a brake problem, which they probably won't have been able to resolve fully in that repair time, unless it was, like we said before, a brake pad or you know, a compound issue and they've managed to put a different compound in. But even then, there's no guarantee. You don't know that that's the 100% fix. But every time you hit the brakes going into turn 5, guarantee they're going to be braking a little bit early and probably tapping the pedal up with their left foot a little bit more.
Exactly so. Yeah, doing that thing that Alain Menu always did, which was just to give it a little press with the left foot before he went with it for the right foot. And you know, that's a confidence thing, because if the pedal's not there, it gives you that split second, you know, a tenth or 2/10 of a second to save the car, and of course commensurate with that to save yourself from hitting the barriers hard.
The other beauty with doing a little tap on your left foot, I think most drivers, it's not as necessary in stuff like these cars, because they will have a lot less pad knockoff from the disc chattering inside the caliper. But basically, when you go over a curb or run an aggressive curb, the disc will wobble slightly and push the pads back. So if you've hit a curb with your front left wheel, pads are pushed further away on your front left than they may be on your front right. So the little tap with your left foot brings all the pads into alignment. So when you do hit the brake pedal hard, they're all pulling at the same time. You're not going to get a front right grab before the front left.
Yeah. So you get even braking and maximum braking, and these guys need maximum braking. We saw Nico Lapierre starts 11th in his Lada for his second ever race in a touring car, never mind World Championship, second ever race in a touring car. Norbert Mikulits, a few more races under his belt, Norby, and he starts in 10th place. He did saloon car racing before he came into World Touring Cars, of course, notably in the Seat Leon Euro Cup, but had a very, did no karting, no single-seaters. His history was in computer gaming. Jose Maria Lopez started the single-seater route, came to Europe, raced in the Renault Championships, Formula Renault V6 Euro Cup, won that, went on to GP2, won races in GP2, and then with Formula One at closed door. He was briefly the driver for USF1, the team that never made a car and never made it to the grid. Then returned to Argentina to lick his wounds and become a multiple Argentine touring car champion. And the rest, as they say, is history. A one-off drive 2 years ago, and Termas de Rio Hondo ended up with an unexpected win in an unexpected car, and a Christmas present of a phone call from Citroën Racing saying, would you like to come and drive with us? And then his first World Championship in his first season. Currently, he's led the World Championship since day one of year 2. Sebastian Loeb starts in front of him in 8th, Mehdi Banani in 7th place, and Mehdi 4th on the grid in race 1, his best qualifying in this Citroën C-Elysée, and again, time away from racing a brand new car to him this season has allowed him to do a little bit of testing with the team, and just for him, that's been vital, because when you're at a track, you can't try different things. You've got to get on with it and get the time and get free practice done. And so, you know, even one-day testing allows you to improve yourself in the car, as you know, as opposed to trying to engineer an improvement in the car.
It allows you to do the things, the what-ifs as well. Like you say, you don't want to do the what-ifs on a race weekend, because if you go the wrong direction, then you know that has a knock-on effect for, you know, you do it in FP1, FP2's then affected, you're on the back foot, and you know you can ruin an entire race weekend by trying a what-if. You know, it allows you to get those out the way.
Exactly so. Quinquan Ma starts in 6th position, Gabriele Tarquini in 5th place. And in the end, he didn't start on the front row of the grid. He didn't get pole that we thought he might well do. A mistake in qualifying, just a timing error, saw him not set a really quick lap. But he starts 5th position here. He was 6th on the grid in race 1, ended up 3rd in the first corner, 3rd at the flag. So there's a good opportunity here for him to find a way to the front. One of the things he's got to do, though, is get by this man. Good friend, close rival, and hugely talented 4-time world champion Ivan Muller.
Well, would be good to see a Honda up there on the front row, wouldn't it? Well, on the top step of the podium, and obviously this track designed by Honda, and I think it was Dan Weldon, wasn't it, in 2004, got Honda's first ever win here, so it'd be nice to
first win here,
see that replicated.
Certainly would. Hugo Vallant, the DHL pole sitter in his Chevrolet. Nicky Katzberg alongside in his Lada, but for a problem after Tom Chilton was disqualified in, or penalised in qualifying. Katzberg should have been on pole. Thiago Monteiro lies at 3rd, ahead of Ivan Muller and Gabriele Tarquini. Looking further down the order, our race 1 pole sitter, and race winner starts 10th and 9th place on the grid. Well, no penalties to change the grid order, so everybody is as they should be. And the green lights and the green flag signify the beginning of the final formation lap. Hugo Vallant getting away quickly in the yellow and white Chevrolet, the yellow Lada behind him, Nicky Katsberg, and then the red, white and green, green, white and red of the Castrol Honda of Thiago Montero. Wouldn't be at all surprised to see 2 red, white and green cars in the top 3 after the first couple of corners. I'm not going to put money on who's going to be the lead, but it might be a car with some yellow on it, whether it's Dayglow yellow or custody yellow, going to be hard to tell. Nervous moments for Vallant. As we discussed, Harry, he's blown several starts before from pole and from the front row, and from Nicky Katsberg, well, he's got a great opportunity to potentially to win this race, to win a race for Lada.
Yeah, Katsberg's obviously fairly new to this as well.
Yeah.
You know, two of the lesser experienced in this formula, if you like, guys at the front there, and both of them having to make a good start. And if you don't, you're right in the clutches of all those works cars behind of the Citroens and Hondas.
And Thiago Montero, of course, lying in 3rd place. And this is the main chance. This is what he was hoping for. He was hoping to start on the front row. Let's hear what he has to say.
Race, I started from the back, came back 9, and happy with that. Now I'm starting P3, see what we can do at the start and the first 2 laps. I know I have a good car here. The valves worked very well in the first race, and I'm quite confident. But the racing race, we'll see. Impossible to predict. So I hope anyway it's a good show for you guys. Enjoy. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thiago and Gabriele will both be really striving to win a race for the factory Honda team here at Honda's own racetrack in Motegi. With just 2 cars in front of him, Thiago must feel, Harry Volkart, that he's got a real chance, but
yeah, well,
there's always a but.
Yeah, the Honda's been rapid, hasn't it, this weekend, so we know it's got the capability. The big question mark, I guess, is if it's ending up with a straight toe-to-toe fight with the Citroen. The Citroen seemed to hold its ultimate lap pace longer in race 1, but that said, Lopez had scampered off, so was that Honda backing off just to make sure that they can get the engine life out of the engine? So, you know, time will tell, I guess.
Cars on the grid, round 18 of the FIA World Touring Car Championship 2015. Pole sitter on the right of your picture is Hugo Vallant. On the left, Nicky Katsberg in the Lada. There is the Lada garage. Lots of anticipation here. We could have a big first-time winner. Thiago Montero starts 3rd, Ivan Muller starts 4th. That's where the experience and the real danger lies for our front row men. And Gabriele Tarquini, 5th on the grid in his Honda. Red lights are on, and away we go. Very quick change. There is Thiago looking to go around Nicky Katsberg, who barely moved at the start. And Tarquini's on the outside of the Lada. Muller's on the inside, squirreling on the grass. It's Montero that leads. He's gone in front. Muller in 3rd place behind Hugo Vallant. Good start from Thiago Montero. Mehdi Benani facing backwards out of the first corner. And Muller now challenging to go around the outside to the inside of Vallant. He sees the chance to win a race here, and at least win a race, even if he doesn't get many points back from Jose Maria Lopez. There's just 2 cars between Muller and victory, but Montero now, Harry Volkart has got to scamper away as fast as his little feet will carry him.
Yeah, he needs to really make hay while the sun's shining now, while Vallant's between him and those Citroens. He was lucky at the start. Who's that? Is that Lopez?
Switching out wide, that's Loeb. Oh, it's Lopez, it is Lopez.
Puncture.
Oh, puncture,
Front left.
golden opportunity for Muller. Now his engineer will be telling him already, puncture for Lopez, puncture for Lopez. Now Muller has to win. Now he has to win, Harry.
Yeah, he really does.
Championship could hang on this. Lopez crawling at the back will score a 0 maybe, and Gregoire de Moustier struggling there. Big moment for him.
That looked like something broken in the front left wheel there. I wonder if that was a result of contact with Lopez at some point.
And Lopez struggling back slowly in the car. Keep calm, don't panic, captain. Gregoire de Moustier almost at the back of the field. Montero going to gallop away now, use everything the Honda's got. And we talked about maybe Vallant having lack of pace in race 1, keeping the best of the tyres for race 2. You know Montero has done that as well. You know he has. That's the main chance for him.
What a good start he got off the line though. Went right the way around the outside of everybody, and you know, he went from the inside of the grid to the outside, went round them all, and sorry, outside to the inside, but yeah, what a fantastic start.
Huff holding off Loeb and Katzberg. What happened to Nicky Katzberg's start? He's way down there. Huffy comes across the line in 6th, Loeb 7th, Katzberg started 2nd, he's 8th ahead of Lapierre, who started 11th. You know, they've met in the middle from the front row and the 6th row, and Lopez still crawling around.
Lopez, a lot of left rear damage there, so somebody's obviously hit him at some point.
Yeah. That's what happens when you're in the middle of the pack occasionally. You just get in that concertina effect where somebody shuffles their way into you.
Montero was lucky at the start as well. Going into turn 1, he had everybody ganged up behind him and they were pushing him along. It almost looked like his rear wheels were off the ground.
Yeah. Well, listen, Montero, 1.2 seconds clear at the end of lap 1. Here comes Chilton down the inside. Can he stop? Yes, he can. Doesn't make contact with the back of Nico Lapierre. And Loeb trying to get by, but Katzberg had a move going on him there. And don't forget, Loeb was in front of Katzberg, but the Lada is still there inside the Citroën, and Loeb somehow carries the speed into the corner and keeps his nose in front. And Chilton down the inside and makes contact with Lapierre, who won't be used to that from sports car racing, and as a result of Chilton's bobble, through goes Norbert Michelis and Tom Coronel right behind, and so too is Stefano D'Aste. So all the Chevys at the back. Interesting though that Muller has not been able to put a move in on Hugo Vallant, and the longer he stays in the slipstream of Vallant, the harder his understeering car is going to be on its front tyres. And also for Ivan, if he makes a miscue going for Vallant in 2nd place, Gabrielli's going to be past him like a shot.
He is, and he just, in some ways it would be great for, well, Muller would have to win, it would make a big impact on his championship, but also he doesn't want to chuck this away because there's a lot of valuable points over Lopez there that he's got as a given. So
yes, and Lopez out of the car, out of the race. It is a 0 for Jose Maria Lopez, a rare 0 in his scorecard, but nevertheless he failed to score in race 2 in Russia. That's the only time he's failed to score in a race. Almost the only time he's not been on a podium this year. Thiago Montero pulling away, 2 seconds clear.
That was a great first lap, 1.8 seconds faster than Muller's lap.
Oh, there we go, that's Muller's bid for victory. He's on the outside of Vallant. Vallant keeps him out there, and look at Thiago. Oh, contact with Ivan, couldn't be avoided. Ivan cut back inside, desperate to keep the Italian behind him, as desperate as he was to get by his compatriot in the Chevy in front.
Yeah, he can just see in the distance, Thiago sprinting away. He knows he has to make that move stick now. Yeah,
and again, not just Jose had a puncture, but now Jose is out. That was the message to Ivan, and he will have known that was coming. You know, when you have a puncture here, when you have to go into the pit lane, your race is over in far as points are concerned. So Ivan, this could be a big turning point in the championship. It could reignite his opportunities, but he's got to get by. And he's struggling to get by Vallant. We saw how much of a struggle he had with understeer in race 1, Harry. It doesn't look like they've been able to do very much to sort that out, because he's queuing up behind Vallant, but they're all queuing up behind him.
And Vallant looks like he's struggling a little bit there. I don't know if you saw off that curb strike, the way the back end was hopping, it looked like a TVR.
Well, his car has been bouncing around, hasn't it? It's looked really twitchy all weekend, Hugo's. And again, Ivan trying to get a little run going down into turn 11. It's not happening from there. Thiago behind, and now Mar's the danger man, goes straight down the inside. Great pass by Quinquar Mar. into 11 is a good overtaking opportunity. Amar was incisive there against Muller in race 1 and just carved down the inside of Tarquini. I'm sure Gabrielli didn't think he was coming then.
Now this is a problem for Muller as well, because he knows Mar's behind him. Mar passed him on merit in race 1, so will he do the same again?
Mar could win this.
Muller looks...
Tarquini turns the Chinese driver around. Mar can't win this.
No.
Nor will Tarquini. I would think he'll get a penalty for that.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see.
Muller looks tentative on the brakes a little bit when you watch him against Volant, and when they're hitting the brake pedal, the dive on Muller's car is a little bit earlier than Volant's.
Yeah.
And we did hear him complaining about his brakes from race 1.
Well, now the battle for 4th place features the Lada. So Rob Huff has shuffled. Rob Huff? Is Rob Huff shuffled his way through there and has got in front of Tarquini and Loeb. So Huffy has had a really good run, hasn't he? Because Rob Huff started 13th on the grid and he is now up to 5th place. 4th place, because Mar's gone, yes, of course.
That's it, yeah, a great effort, and after a bit of a woeful qualifying as well.
Well, you know, weekends that start out bobbins and end up being much better, that's the way you like it to go. You want that nice upward progression where it just takes a nosedive all weekend and you can't pull it out of the dive. That's not what you need. Montero, 3.7 seconds clear of Vaillant and Muller, and Tarquini has a little look at the back of Rob Huff for 4th, but Loeb is right there as well. Sebastian Loeb had a very combative race 1. Looks like he might be trying to shape up a move here on Tarquini, who blocks early down the inside. He's not going to get marred a second time by a Citroen down there.
Nope.
Having figured there was no chance anybody was getting by, he learned that there is a chance.
Those Citroens are amazing on the brakes. They're so strong, aren't they? Yes. Oh, there it is. There's Tarquini being investigated.
Well, always was going to be, because there was contact between 2 cars and one of them went off. You know, you ruin somebody's race, chances are the stewards are going to ruin yours.
Yeah, I think he'll find himself in some hot water for that one.
Yeah, I think he'll find himself with either a drive-through or a 30-second penalty after the race in lieu of a drive-through. They have got time to examine the evidence and to apply the penalty now. Challenge for 2nd from Muller. Starting to get a little run, and not enough of a run again on Hugo Vaillant down into turns 3 and 4. And these shorts are tantalising. The front straight, too short. Straight between 2 and 3, too short. This straight down to turn 5, too short. Not quite long enough to really make a move work. But it's tantalising because it gives you the thought that it might be there, because you know there's a big braking episode at the end of it.
That's interesting. I mean, I suppose it's kind of fairly obvious from what we're seeing in front of us, but the only 2 cars to get into the 57s so far are the 2 Hondas, the 2 Castrol Works Hondas.
Watch the car on the left of your picture, Nicky Katzberg. It's like suddenly his turbo doesn't work. Doesn't get away from the line, the car bogs down, then he's on the outside. Where does he go? Well, there's contact behind Citroens. 3 Citroens made contact. That's where Lopez puncture came from. But Bernani going off there as well. And Katzberg just sank like a stone around the outside. Everybody streamed by him. So Thiago Montero, what are they looking at that we're not seeing? What did they just see? Hugo Vaillant holding on to 2nd ahead of Ivan Muller, still here with Thiago Montero, your race leader.
Oh, bonnet.
No, bonnet has come loose.
Muller's.
Yes, and that could be a major handicap. It's right in his eye line. The driver is so low you can barely see over the dashboard. It's like, you know, a Florida granny, and that is in his eye line, so he will have his visibility severely reduced. The other thing, Harry, huge underbonnet temperatures in this car. The airflow is really carefully governed through the front and exhausted around the wheel arches. Having that stalling all the airflow under bonnet, his temperatures are just going to go sky high. Black and orange flag for car 68. That means race control, no, he's got a problem. Look, you can't even see Muller when you look at him. He's trying to look under the bonnet.
He'll be able to see a tiny bit underneath the bonnet, but not ideal.
Now, in your road car, because your seatbelts move, you can lean down. In a racing car, you can't. You might as well be stapled to the seat, nailed to the seat. You can't move, and he's definitely not going to loosen the belts to try and get visibility. Now, obviously, if he comes in, the race is lost, the championship is lost.
Yeah.
Because he scores a 0 and he'll still be 74 points behind, which is not one weekend, it's almost 2 weekends behind with 3 weekends left.
That's pretty bad, horrendous luck, isn't it? When your main rival's out of the race with a puncture and then you get a freak incident like that where...
And look at the difference it's made. Where's Vallon? Vallon's cleared off. Vallon hasn't suddenly gone quicker. If Muller can't see, he's going slower.
Yeah.
And they're going to catch him from behind. And Huff and Tarquini, all right, Tarquini's out of the equation because I can't imagine he's not going to get a penalty. But certainly Huff is going to be all over this like a rash, because that's a podium right there, sitting in front of Rob Huff. And Rob will have been told Muller can't see, his bonnet's up.
Yeah, I think Muller will have to come in for that. Because if it lets go, it's going to cause a big issue, you know.
Well, we've seen a door cartwheeling down the straight in GT races before at Paul Ricard that didn't bring him in. Ooh, that didn't bring a driver in. Loeb having a long lunge there at Tarquini and has completely outbraked himself, and that is going to drop him back into the clutches maybe of Mar.
I wonder if that's a bit...
Oh, and Muller's in.
Yeah.
And that's it. Huffy is third, and suddenly Tarquini's thinking podium, podium, podium. And on the pit wall, they'll be going, oh no, they're going to investigate him. Potential podium is all gone. However, Thiago Monteiro still leads the race. And that's it. Whatever happened with that bonnet pin.
It's always the case, isn't it?
Yeah.
£5 piece has ruined the entire race.
It was contact. Was it? Yes, it was contact.
Yes, it was.
I figured it had to be.
Yeah.
You know, these things are too well built for it just to pop open, and the mechanics are too good for it not to be enclosed.
So he lifted his rear wheels off the ground as well, didn't he? But
exactly. Well, there's the battle for third then. Rob Huff third, Gabriele Tarquini fourth, but under investigation. And Sebastian Loeb in fifth position. Rob Huff, a podium for third from 13th on the grid. That would be a big, big result for him. He needs to start that far back a little more often. I don't know quite what he did at the start, but it worked well for him.
It's always that case with a driver with like Rob's experience, right place, right time, takes the right opportunities and doesn't take the silly ones, doesn't try to go around the outside of people. You know, he's just picked up the positions when they've come to him.
And sometimes the door doesn't open and you have to accept that. And sometimes when it's there and you go through like a greased otter, you know, it just happens and the gaps open up and they're all in the right place for you, and you've got to take them. And you have to be you have to know that that's happening, and the spatial awareness of the best racing drivers is what gets them through those gaps before they shut. Sometimes, as Thiago found last time out in Villarreal, the gap shut and you're in there and there's nothing you can do. Even hitting the brake pedal with both feet isn't going to save you. And sometimes the accident comes to you, and sometimes the gap comes to you. Thiago has got the gap now. It says 0.6 of a second ahead of Yvan Muller. Well, Yvan's not there. He's 6.6 seconds ahead of Hugo Vallon at the last lap. Halfway through the race, Thiago Monteiro with a commanding advantage. 7.6. He opened up a second on Vallon in that lap. So Vallon's last lap, a 1:59.5. Huff, a 1:59.5. Only 200ths quicker than Hugo. Still dark skies overhead, but the shading on Rob's rear view camera to stop the camera flare is making it look much darker. Because we know that Gabriele's car is white and not grey, red and green, so you can tell that it's making it look darker. Certainly at the moment, no hint of rain.
I think this is where we're going to see some fireworks in this little pack of three, isn't it?
Yes, Rob seems to have run out of go at the moment, and Tarquini is right there.
Vallon seems to have found something in that Chevrolet. We've not seen a Chevy running this well all weekend, have we? And it's consistent as well. Yeah,
and again, fresh tyres and fresh air he's in. So, you know, no question he will have kept the very best tyres humanly possible after qualifying for race 2 and sacrificed race 1. And I mean, his car really was a struggle in race 1, but he held off Muller and Tarquini inside Huff. Now, that was always coming. At some stage, he was going to be there. The Honda's been very good under brakes. Turns nicely now as well. Yeah, but Huff is there, and through goes Loeb, as you say, opens the door. And any racing driver knows if somebody else has got their foot in the door, you've got to get yours in as well.
Yeah. And the next corner's a right-hander, so unfortunately for Tarquini, instead of gaining the position, he's lost one.
Absolutely. And Turn 11 again. Tarquini on the outside this time rather than defending on the inside, but he's back inside Loeb. Traction of the Honda, whatever else they've done to it, they have really got good traction here. Maybe it's just the particular speed of that corner suited his car a little bit more than Loeb's, but he's been all over the back of Huff. He's been all over the back of everybody all race weekend.
Look at that Lauda engine again.
Yeah.
You see that you mentioned it earlier on in race 1, but it really does have a monumental engine in the straight line.
Yeah, it's losing nothing to anybody. Pulled away from the Sitchin there momentarily. Best lap of the race for Thiago Monteiro, a 1:57.5. He did a 58.9 last time round, so 1.4 seconds slower. But his best race lap, not far away from his best qualifying lap.
Michelin's has been lapping slowly since the very start, so somewhere in that first corner set of collisions, I think he's obviously sustained a bit of damage maybe on his tracking.
Sure has. And there's Greg Demoustier. Now, is he okay? Looks like it. He's all on his own. He was in a bit of a battle. Stefano Daste's got by him. Hugo Vallant able to stay away from Rob Huff, but Thiago Monteiro, 8 laps into the race, 8.69 seconds ahead of Hugo Vallant. Back at Sebastian Loeb in 4th place from Huff's car.
Look how strong the Citroen is on the brakes.
But then the Honda was compared to the Lada as well, so I wonder if they're both braking equally, whether the Lada is struggling under braking.
Yeah, very
See
possible.
how hard he is on the right-hand side of the road down the straight to turn 11. He doesn't want Loeb on the inside. He doesn't want him on the outside. Rob brakes desperately late and takes the line away from the Frenchman. But that was defence all the way out of the hairpin at turn 10. He knew the challenge was coming.
It was, and fair play to Loeb. He didn't leave his nose on the outside where he could have been to cause Rob a situation. That was fairly fair racing there.
Yeah. Victor Shapovalov watching from the Lada pit wall. Another podium here, another big hatful of points. There's been a big step forward this year for Lada, really big. You know, a lot of investment, new sponsor come on board with the new car, for all the changes in the team and awful teething problems they had with the car at the very beginning. When they went to Argentina for the first race weekend, only 1 car had been finished. The other 2 were completed in Argentina before turning a wheel. They hadn't even had a single lap of shakedown. That's how late the car was. And from there, they've gone on to be on the podium, to win races, win a race with this car. And Huffy now again looking to be on the podium again with the Lada.
I think they're actually closing in a little bit on the Chevy of Vallant.
At the moment, they haven't. In fact, they haven't won a race this year, Lada, have they? But they have been in the points and hunting for the podiums. And they are closing a little on Vallant.
Yeah, definitely, but I don't think there's going to be enough laps left in the race to make anything of that. Oh!
Well, Rob 6/10 faster than Vallant on the last lap, despite fighting off Sebastian Loeb tooth and nail on every corner. Vallant's last lap a 2-minute 0.6, Rob's a 2-minute 0.0, and again down the run into 11. Loeb's going to have to figure out a way of getting inside Rob in corner 10, not off corner 10, because that's straight down to 11. Huff's got it covered. And here, 12, 13, 14.
Look at Loeb's brakes there glowing. You can see them through those black wheels really clearly.
Can't you? That's how hard these cars are working for a living. These drivers dragging the thing. Vallant dropping away fast from the leader, and Huff is closing on him last time round. Another 2-minute 0.6.
Huffy looks like he's really having to concentrate on getting that thing stopped right in that first corner there.
Now, it's okay for Huff until he catches Vallant, and then he hasn't got room to manoeuvre. If he gets up too close to Hugo Vallant, then his speed is going to be governed by Vallant's car, and then he's in the worst position because he can't get by Vallant, but Loeb is constantly going to be having a run at him, and Huff is going to be kind of robbed of places he can go to a degree if Vaillant is holding him up.
Yeah, no, it's going to make things difficult, but I don't think he'll catch him before the end unless Vaillant sort of slows down a bit more than he has been.
Lap 11 of 13. And there, Mehdi Benani has got by John Philippi. So Benani now moves up into 11th. Stefan Adasta in front is in 10th place, the last of point-scoring places. And Huffy, last time round, was just a fraction over a second behind Vaillant and going comfortably half a second quicker. Oh, inside is Sebastian Loeb. Again shows his nose at Rob Huff. And again, Huff manages to hold him off. This is down the back stretch, past the other pit lane. I'm not quite sure what pit lane it's called. But that time, Loeb lunged too early, Harry Folkard, and was nowhere near Rob Huff down into turn 11, where he's been alongside him previously. But is that going to work better for him to the end of the lap? Not being bunched up behind Rob Huff might give him more momentum onto the straight. This could be really tough for Huffy. He's dropped a long way back from Hugo Vaillant as they go on to lap 12 of 13 here. Still the battle rages for third place. Wow.
So far this has been a great battle. No unnecessary contact or anything just yet. Just nice close rubbing and racing, but
least we forget that car that just went through shot. Our race leader, Thiago Monteiro, 10 seconds clear of Hugo Vaillant in second. Huffy in third. So it's Honda, Chevrolet, Lada, Citroën, Honda, Citroën. It's a nice little mix of manufacturers there. Chilton and Coronel, 7th and 8th. Both still got brakes. Both still worried that they won't have next time they go to the pedal.
Yeah, that's going to keep on edge.
Yes, that's a nightmare you don't want to have repeating itself.
This is where Loeb seems to catch Huffy quite a bit through this section here when they go into the tunnel. Oh, sorry, different part. But
yeah,
I think it must be this bit coming up.
Nico Lapierre in the pit lane, as is Jose Maria Lopez. Beg your pardon, Nicky Katzberg in the pit lane, as is Jose Maria Lopez. Nico Lapierre, the second Lada, in 9th. Stefan Adasta in 10th. But Thiago Monteiro made this his from the first lap, and he is now going on to, or heading towards the last lap. 3 corners time. He'll be coming past the pits once more for the penultimate time. Down into turn 11. You know there's nobody breathing on the Yas pit wall, don't you? They're just holding their breath.
Everything crossed.
Whoa, and Huffy again holding his breath and his line. Loeb, game to the last, is having yet another lunge around the outside, just in the hope that the next time he does it, Huff's brakes won't be there strong enough and Huffy will go offline. But so far, the former world champion is holding on from 9-time World Rally champion.
I think Huffy's having to brake and go defensive in that first section, which is why we're seeing the Citroën looking strong in the middle of it. And he just manages to get his nose inside there, doesn't he, every time, just mid-corner to exit. It's not enough, but he just...
Tiniest little bit of contact there as he's just pushing Huffy through the corner. Now he's going around the outside, and Huffy again.
Tarquini back.
Oh, Tarquini once more on the inside. Is he going to bump another Citroën out of the way? This is Gabrielli's view, and he's squeezed through. And that was a good, clean move by Gabrielli. Very opportunistic as ever. But again, now this takes a little pressure off Huffy, because Loeb is immediately on the counter-attack to try and retake the place from Tarquini.
Yeah.
Watching with bated breath.
I think that's enough for Huffy. I think that'll secure his position.
I don't know. Gabrielli, last lap, the podium beckons. Rush of blood to the head, last lap lunge. I know he's not a 20-year-old.
But he is Italian.
He is Italian. Let's not be too cliche, but, you know, and I'm sure that when he gets to stewards, he will have a lot of questions to ask about Quing Tuan Ma. We you know, haven't seen that again, but he was on the inside and Ma ended up being spun off. Thiago.
Oh, low back inside.
Yes, Thiago well clear of this. Loeb is on the inside, out of turn 10, and Gabrielli moves across, moves across, moves across, moves across, moves across, till he's almost in the pit wall. He was over the white line of pit exit. There's Dario Desposito watching. Loeb going to try and go around the outside, and the Honda just about has enough for 4th place at the moment, but it's Thiago Monteiro who is going to win for the factory Honda team at Honda's own track in Motegi. Victory in Japan for Honda. 2nd place will go to Hugo Vallant, 3rd to Rob Huff, and 4th to
it's going to be Loeb.
Sebastian Loeb at the line, yes, by inches from...
Loeb, oh sorry, yeah, it was.
Loeb in 4th from Tarquini and Marr. Sure, Tarquini will have a penalty to answer, so maybe Chilton and Coronel and Marr and Loeb will move up. Well, Loeb was ahead anyway. Maybe they'll all move up one, but Castrol Honda, the factory team, winning in Japan. That's a very big deal for the whole team, for the Japanese engineers, for Japan, Honda Japan, Honda R&D.
A good result, and it was well worked, was it, from the very start of the weekend?
Clean as a whistle for Thiago. And yes, coming with an engine penalty to Honda's home race, they only could possibly work on one plan, and that was all geared to race 2. Everything.
Yeah. Now, it was very well worked and well driven as well by Thiago, because, you know, had to get qualifying right first, which he did, and then, you know, that start as well, the start of this race, that was amazing.
Great start from him, everything focused, and the Citroens didn't tear through the pack and come and get at him. I think he might have held on anyway. Thiago Monteiro, victorious here in Japan for Honda. There is your race winner, Thiago Monteiro. The sticker on his helmet, as so many, in memory of the late Justin Wilson, car driver who lost his life after the season finale a couple of weeks ago, whose funeral in England was held on Thursday. And our race winner will have other thoughts in his mind right now. Thiago Monteiro winning at the Honda track here in Motegi in his Castrol Honda. And Rob Huff on the podium, looking pretty happy with himself as well. But let's hear from Thiago Monteiro after a standout victory for the Honda driver.
What a brilliant, brilliant race 2 here at Motegi. Thiago Monteiro is the winner. What a champion. What a brilliant, brilliant drive.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm so pleased. I mean, it's really difficult. One of those where it's difficult to find the words because you got so many people to thank, you know. We are at the home race of Honda, and we were very strong all weekend. I had a very big setback at the beginning of the week with an engine change, starting out back the grid. So, you know, you have to forget that and focus on what's important. It was a tough character building weekend, but come on, great start. We pulled away. Fantastic car to drive. That was amazing.
Home race, your fans will be delighted.
I know. I know, I mean, all around the track, I could see people so excited. It is the second home race for me, so it's so nice. After the problem in Villarreal, the crash there, so many crashes, bad lucks with fighting. Finally, a little bit of luck on our side. Thank you, Honda. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Yas. Thank you, my family.
You deserve that luck, Thiago. Well done.
He seized the opportunity.